Welcome to another day in paradise. It's your boy Tuffy. I've been reading a lot of manga. However, I've really just been reading one manga. So today I'm going to talk about my reading habits as a manga collector and as an avid manga reader, and talk about how I gotta change some stuff, man. Let's get into it. So basically, right now, I have a manga list that I'm going through, that I'm reading, and I use anilist. I don't know why, I think it's like the rebel in me. I just don't really like my enemy list because some of the reviews and some of the ego on that website is too much for me. I feel like anilist is more about, hey, this is who I am, this is what I'm reading. It's not pushing reviews in your face. I get it. That's why a lot of people would go to these websites, is to read those extreme reviews. But anyway, the point being, I use anilist. I have a lot of manga on my list that it will take me a long time to get through. But I'll tell you a little bit about what I read, why I read it, and how I read it. So basically, I used to read a lot of shonen. I used to read Shonen Jump. I used to read a lot of books from Barnes & Noble or Borders. And yeah, I used to basically read whatever I could get my hands on that was interesting me at the time. So you'll find a lot of my reading list is, action-based, sci-fi, fantasy, something with really interesting characters, something with big, expansive worlds. I like when there are really strong side characters. Okay, so that's a little bit about what I like to read. How I read it. I said this in one of my other videos before, but I used to basically read physical manga. I'd go to libraries, I would go to bookstores, I would just read them physically. And something about that experience, about holding the book, opening it, going through the pages one at a time, something clicked in my brain and it really stuck with me. I think the experience of reading manga in book form is very different from reading from a phone or tablet. Here's my thing about it. I think when you're flipping the pages from right to left, and you're kind of digesting the story in a way where you really have to see the panels laid out one after another, you kind of see how the mangaka is really planning out every page. So in a nutshell, I really do like reading print. But this year, I have downloaded the Shonen Jump app, and now there's so many things I want to read. A few big ones I want to read on there: Dr. Stone, Kagurabachi, and Bleach. Because I don't own all of Bleach, I don't own obviously all of Kagurabachi. It's still being printed very slowly in English. So I'm really excited about reading those. One day too, I'm gonna read all of One Piece. I swear to God, I'm gonna read all of One Piece. It's on my hit list, I promise you. But yeah, I'm only on, I think I'm around chapter 382 right now. Another big one that I'm reading is Naruto. I bought the Naruto box set 2, which is the very big chunk of Shippuden where they're fighting the Akatsuki. I love Naruto. I think it reads so well. I think it progresses so, perfectly as far as pacing goes. And it's a page turner. I mean, I'm hooked. I'm constantly thinking about what's gonna happen next. And that's when you know it's a good manga. I'm gonna confess to you, while I have those other ones that I'm reading on my list, I'm really just focusing on Naruto. So if I am working on a manga, I'll just kind of only read that manga one at a time. So for example, there was a period where I was just reading the Chainsaw Man manga, and then there was a period where I shifted over and I was reading JJK because that was getting really close to the ending of it. And then there was a period where I was reading One Piece a lot, so I was reading dozens and dozens of volumes at a time. Obviously, if I really wanted to, I could be reading 4, 5, 6 manga all at once, but I feel like I don't really absorb the story and the characters that well and reflect on it as much when I'm reading multiple at a time. That's kind of my reading habit. It's not always like that, but right now that's how it is. I'm just like mainlining Naruto right now. I think I will pick up a few more and challenge myself to read a few more at the same time. And yeah, we'll get through my Shonen Jump app reading list. Outside of Shonen Jump app, there are quite a few other manga I want to read. There are some that are just like vintage and old. I'll show some pictures of the ones that I want to read. And Urasawa, this 20th Century Boys is one that I've been wanting to read for a long time. Land of the Lustrous, I want to read that. I want to read Soul Eater, which I own all the Soul Eaters, so I'm definitely going to read that soon. Yeah, but I guess I'm just going to kind of spread it out across the year, not going to rush anything. And I really want to digest it. I want to like comprehend what is the author's intention, pick up the small, minute details. I really like to take my time with manga, especially if it's peak, because when it's peak, I mean, just really pouring over the pages, getting lost in the world, there's no better feeling than that for me. That's a little bit about my reading habits with manga. Hope you guys enjoyed. I don't know, I'm just sharing what I think about my experience with manga. Love to hear what you guys are going through when you're reading your series. Drop a comment, drop a like, let me know what you want me to talk about next. Having fun doing this, guys, so thanks so much for supporting. Have a great day. Peace out. Look at that majestic cat. Just chilling over there. Beautiful as can be.